trip hier naartoe. We zijn natuurlijk gestart in Nederland. Met wat mensen bij elkaar. Nou, dat is ons aangewezen van joh. De Riesling is echt wel een heel interessante druif om mee te beginnen.
Ja.
Nou, daar zijn we naar op zoek gegaan.
We zijn op zoek gegaan naar de parel aan de Moezel.
De parel aan de Moezel. Ja, ontzettend leuk.
Ja.
Bij een aantal wijnhuizen terechtgekomen. En uiteindelijk de keuze gemaakt voor Ivan en Tobias.
Ja.
Dat gaan jullie straks ook zien. En we zijn er echt super trots op om dit te kunnen presenteren.
Ja, zeker.
Onze eerste batch als het ware. 200 dozen die we introduceren in Nederland, wat er nog niet is.
Ja.
Mit dem Bus hier vorbeigefahren.
Ja, ja. Da werden die dann in Sorentberg gefahren sein.
Die kamen doch wahrscheinlich von Sorentberg.
Ja, kann sein.
We were both working in our family estate. So Tobias in the Julius Treis estate, his few generation family estate, and I worked at Castelfeder estate as a winemaker in my family estate. And from that moment, we decided to do, apart from the family estate, our own thing.
And then he said, yeah, do you have an idea? And I said, yeah, I have. And I just sent you a picture of a vineyard immediately. And
This one.
And I sent him this picture. Just write him, we can buy it and we can do our own business there. And 3 days later, he called me and said, I'm in the airport, please pick me up.
When I came here for the first time, the vineyard was looking completely different than everything. The only thing that always remained was the steepness, but the rest was completely different because it was all abandoned, it was all neglected, it was all wild growing, and we had to clean up everything. And the decision was to start this project, this recultivation project together. It was at that time the largest recultivation project in this area for a long time, and we are very proud of that. And we started recultivating everything. We have the lower part that we are looking at it's at the moment they are 10 years old already, but together with the Rotschiefer Riesling we produce also the old wines from the upper part of the Sorentberg mountain. I love the Riesling, and that's why I'm here, because in my family estate I have most all of the international varieties which I grow at a high level, but I cannot grow Riesling in my soils and in my terroir in Alto Adige, and that's why I said, Tobias, we have to do it in the right place, in the right area, which is here, because Moezel is the most famous area for this variety for Riesling in the whole world.
I grew up with Riesling, so for me it's Riesling very easy to understand. But when I started the new winery with Ivan together, and he studied winemaker like me in Geisenheim, and so he's a professional, but he knows nothing, more or less nothing about Riesling. And then I have to explain everything to a professional wine maker and wine drinker. Everything started by zero, and then I always and I also recognize that Riesling is so super difficult. The Riesling is very influenced by the art of soil, and important is that Riesling need a stony slate soil. With especially here on the Moezel, it's perfect because it's in the steep vineyards. The sun is warming up the slate, and then the slate works like a bottom heater when the sun set, and that makes the steep vineyards so much better in quality for the Riesling. Then just 5% of the soil in the Moezel Valley is red or red slate. All the other are gray or blue slate, like you see here.
Yeah.
Here you can see it very well. A lot of stones or slates with seashells inside, and that is a combination we never found before. It's the only vineyard in the whole Moezel Valley with red slate and seashells.
Petrified fossils in it.
And it's influenced the wine in a different way of taste. So we have more warm flavors, we have more spiciness or spicy flavors, and very, very complex. The blue slate makes the wine always light and elegant. It's very typical for Riesling, but this one is more round and complex.
So we knew that we were lucky to have a vineyard that makes part of this 4 or 5% of red slate only, because all the producers that grow Riesling on red slate, they knew and they communicated as something unique, because it makes just a small part, and they were lucky that they produce on red slate. And we always thought we were the final part of this red slate here, which is a very famous vineyard called Urziger Würzgarten, one of the most famous vineyards here in the Moezel. But it wasn't, because as you see, our Sorentberg lays on this green. Here it's marked green area here. Yeah. And here the old sea, millions of years ago, came in like this. And here we have a mountain on top. And it could not cross the mountain. So it was like kind of a beach, an old beach, where all the fossils were collected and then over 300, 400 million of years compressed into the soil.
Yeah, so my family is in touch with wine since 1684, so it's quite a long time. And we have a historical wall in our cellar with information about every vintage of quality and quantity. Riesling is completely difficult. So we have different kind of soils. We have different vintage. It's influenced very much the wine. It's not only up to us. So we produce in nature. We produce wine together or grapes together with the nature, and it's influenced by weather and climate and also soil. We have it in different taste levels, so dry, semi-dry, sweet, noble sweet, light and fresh, sparkling. So I always say Riesling is a variety, you can make more or less every wine out of it, except red wine.
There is a nice story of our professor in Geisenheim. When he knew that we bought the vineyard and we recultivated it, he said, "Oh my God, guys, you did the right thing." But he always said, guys, pay attention, because Sorentberg is, in the good years, in good vintages, one of the best vineyards of the area. But in bad years, it could be also one of the worst. So we had a few ideas to prevent bad years. As you see here, the wines are fermenting at the moment. It's nearly 1.5 to 2 months after harvest now, and the wines are more or less halfway of fermentation. They do a very, very slow fermentation. It's quite cold in the cellar, and they're bubbling every 3-4 seconds. CO2 is evaporating from the barrels because the yeast, as you know, ferment the sugar and produce alcohols, aromatic flavors, and CO2.
This one is one part of our treasure chest. So of every vintage we store bottles of the best barrel inside here, just to let them mature. And so that's very, very important for us in this background of history to have also history, liquid history here in our cellar. It's very important that we have this fungus here because it cleans the air, and it's a perfect climate for the aging or the bottle aging. Follow me. Here is our big treasure chest where we really put a lot of bottles inside of the new vintage, always a new vintage, and then we keep it for decades to take it out again. The good thing with Riesling is that it's tasty when it's young, but you also can keep it for years or decades, and then it's got a completely different flavor, and it's super, super nice. Yeah, so here, when you take a look, here we have 1971 vintage Auslese of our best part of the vineyard. We also put every year a lot of bottles from Sorentberg inside to let them age.
And we have now collected vintages from 2013 up to 2021. And yeah, our target is to release them in a few years, so to give our clients also the chance to taste and to drink wines that are perfectly aged and perfectly ripe in our cellar with perfect conditions after a few years. Yeah. Because as you know, Riesling is the variety that is probably aging better than all the other varieties in the world.
Ja.
Ich weiß nicht, ob das... I think we must move a little bit here. Warte, ne, ich mache einen Weitwinkel, ist gut. Bleib so, ist okay.
The key strength is our friendship, I think, yeah. Because we're not only partners in winemaker, and we share the same passions, but we have been good friends, we are good friends, and we love it to work together, and we love to sometimes to struggle, sometimes but it's good. That makes part of the job, and I think also that's what brings us always one step ahead.
I also want to say that we are not always there to tell you all the stories. But the wine, when you drink the wine, the wine can tell the story. And that's very important for us, that every wine tells a story about the vintage, about the story about the soil, and where it comes from. You can drink it all over the world, and you can taste it, that it's Riesling, that it's Moezel Valley, that it's grown not on blue slate. So maybe you haven't imagined that it's a red slate, but it's very rare. Then you are a very professional wine drinker. But it's for everybody outside here, it's important to drink a lot of wine. Yeah. So, die ist für euch.
Hey maat,
Ja, lekker.
Nico,
Ja, vertel eens.
die eerste batch,
Ja man,
hoe voelt dat?
ja, bijzonder en spannend moet ik zeggen.
Ja.
Het is voor het eerst dat we de grote hoeveelheid wijn inkopen.
Ja.
Ja.
En het was een helse zoektocht, maar ook een leuke zoektocht. We hebben natuurlijk op de berg hebben we alles bekeken, de steilheid van de berg.
Ja.
Dat was echt verrassend.
Ja.
Ook de shooting wat we gedaan hebben met de twee eigenaren, Ivan en Tobias. Maar we hebben ons er doorheen geslagen.
Ja man.
En echt ontzettend trots dat we dit mee naar Nederland nemen.
Ja.
En binnenkort live op onze Insta.
Ja,
En via Beyond the Bottle.
te bestellen.
Ja,
Ja, dus dan is het gewoon binnenkort bij de mensen thuis. Zulke mooie doosjes.
zeker weten.
Ja, helemaal mooi.
Dit was hem.
Tof. Groetjes.
Was het wat of niet?